Tonight we are going to hear from Rich from Jersey, who suffers with hypochondria, OCD and anxiety.
Rich is a musician, and you might have even heard some of his music being played on this show. And for him, music helps him deal with his mental health struggles. This is Rich's story.
Hi, my name is Rich Allo and I'm 21 years old. So I first realised that I had problems with my mental health when I was around the age of 13, 14. It was the year 2011 and I started becoming very paranoid about my health. It turns out what I was experiencing was hypochondria, which I didn't know at the time because I wasn't talking to anybody about it. So I went it was probably a year of just worrying about the symptoms that I was experiencing in my body and getting so worked up about it, and that eventually, because I did nothing about it, turned into anxiety, more specifically social anxiety. So I found it hard to go out with friends, leave the house, have conversations with family, and I think that was mainly due to keeping it all bottled up and not saying anything. It was at a time when I was doing GCSEs, so exams were sort of looming over me, and because I wasn't talking to any of my friends about it, they would notice that perhaps I wasn't my usual chirpy self, or they'd wonder why I'd turned down coming to social encounters and that sort of thing. And because I wouldn't talk, I wouldn't speak up about it, it just became more and more mysterious. So it affected my friends as well as me because I wasn't being honest with them, essentially. So a hypochondriac essentially is somebody who worries about their health incessantly. The smallest symptom that they feel, the slight body sensation that they might feel, they become instantly certain that whatever it is that they're experiencing is part of a more serious illness. So for instance, when I was younger, I used to get a lot of heart palpitations and chest pain, which the doctors took quite a long time to figure out what it was. So I was going through months and months of worrying that it could be heart disease and this sort of thing, and it was a combination of many different illnesses really, and it got to the stage where I stopped eating. I lost loads of weight. I ended up in hospital quite a few times because I wasn't eating, essentially the more you kind of worry about your health and the more you look online and the more you don't talk about it, you don't talk to real doctors about it, the more worked up you get. I spoke to a member of my family about it, which at the time felt like the scariest thing to do. But when I received some kind of reassurance, that made me feel a lot better. But sadly, it turns out that wasn't going to be enough, because I've suffered from OCD quite badly in my life, and sort of obsessive thoughts, thinking about things which don't really matter, things which actually aren't worth worrying about. And because my brain came sort of programmed into worrying about those thoughts all the time, I found it very hard to get rid of them, and it came to a point where I realised that just talking to family wouldn't actually cure this. So that's when I sort of went outside and started looking for counselling and therapy and that sort of thing, which I went to for a year and a half, and I came out a very changed person. I learned how to, through cognitive behavioural therapy, learned how to control my thoughts, control my anxieties. Still have issues now with it. I don't want to say it's completely gone away, because it hasn't, but it's certainly a lot easier than it used to be.
That's Rich from Jersey, speaking there about living with hypochondria.
One of Rich's releases is his love of listening, writing and performing music, which we're going to hear some more about after one of his tracks.
This is Life, a song by Rich Allo.
There was a time in my life when it seemed like everything was scaring me. I couldn't face the facts, I couldn't stand up straight, I couldn't bear to be. And how I felt so small compared to the bigger things surrounding me. I'd curl into a ball, bury my face in my hands, and then I'd start to weep. But then my grandpa came, said, boy, you're not to blame, said that I've got to be someone with liberty, and then I never see those fears come out the dark again. And he was singing, la da 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 da, la da 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 da, la da 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 da, la da 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 da. There was a time in my life when it seemed like everything was killing me. Lying wide awake with everything at stake and possibility. There was a time at school when it felt like my friends weren't understanding me. I'd feel them look away, then go outside to play without inviting me. But then my teacher came, wiped down my dirty face, said you go play that game before it starts to rain. And if you don't, I'll come and drag you out myself. And she was singing, la da 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 da, la da 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 da, la da 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 da, la da 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 da. And when the tears come, I'll be sure to wipe them away. And when my fears run, I'll be sure to chase them astray. I'll shout it loud and clear, I'll shout it loud and clear. There was a time in my life when it seemed like everything was scaring me. I couldn't face the facts, I couldn't stand up straight, I couldn't bear to be. And they were singing, la da 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 da, 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 la da 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 da. La da 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 da. There was a time in my life when it seemed like everything was scaring me. But now with certainty, I say that nothing scares me at all.
That's Life Song by Rich Allo.
Let's hear more from Rich from Jersey then now, who suffers with hypochondria, OCD and anxiety.
Rich found that opening up to his family about how he was feeling, as well as counselling and therapy, really helped him.
He then told us about the other passion in his life that helps him deal with his mental health.
Well, music naturally is a big thing, whether it's writing songs, singing, playing music, even if it's just shutting myself away in my home studio for an hour and just experimenting on the piano or the guitar and trying to come up with something new, singing into a mic, producing demos. That gives me motivation to go on and produce something, because to be honest with you, I'm a bit of a workaholic, and I've always got something on the go all the time, whether it's a song or a piece of music, and that kind of gives me the determination to get that finished, so it distracts me away from whatever my anxieties are, and things become a lot easier. My debut album, Sensations, was about my experiences with mental health, really, and people listened to it without me stating explicitly that it was about my mental health and saying, oh, you know, Rich, this is quite depressing stuff. You know, there's only, you know, what, maybe 2 upbeat tracks on it. Apart from that, it seems really somber. And there's specific songs on the album, like Life Song, which was released as a single, and a song called Wet Feet, which is where I talk about my childhood experiences and say, you know, I'm sort of done with being in that place. This is about me moving on and stepping away from it. So, yeah, more than anything. And I think with all of my songs, there's always, whether it's, you know, conscious or not, there's always some kind of undertone which goes back to the days of when things were difficult. The main advice that I would give anybody, if they're out there listening and struggling with their mental health, is to, it sounds, you know, it might sound obvious, but sort of very general, but it's just to talk to somebody. That was the first step that I made before starting to write poems and starting to write music, because you're never on your own, and although it can feel like it's the end of the world and you feel like you're helpless and people are going to judge you for what you're about to say, no matter how bad it is, just talk to somebody you can trust. And a problem shared is a problem halved at the end of the day. And if you are influenced by music and you enjoy writing music, even if you enjoy listening to music, that can certainly help with elevating your mood, helping you relax. And it's been scientifically proven that music helps your brain to process more clearly anyway. So it can do loads to help.
That's Rich from Jersey's story about how music helps him deal with his mental health issues.
If you're experiencing anything similar to Rich, then do talk to your doctor.
There's always Mind Jersey and Mind Guernsey. Head on over to either of those websites for more information there.
Also, there is the BBC Action Line, which has information and support for issues covered in our recent programmes. Head on over to bbc.co.uk/action line to see more.